right, guys. Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. All right. So I am so excited for tonight's call. It's June 1st. Can you guys believe it? It's already June. I mean, it's already we're starting the second half of 2016. That's absolutely insane. The year is just flying by. So a couple quick announcements before I introduce our very special guest speaker. So it's June 1st, which means that it is a brand new month. It's a clean slate. We're all starting from the bottom. We're all starting at Success Club Zero. We're all starting, looking at the month ahead and really pushing ourselves to see who can we help this month, right? Who can we, whose life can we influence with our positive energy, with just helping them get healthier, with just helping them honestly just feel better about themselves. And so this month we have some awesome challenge packs on sale. If you guys haven't seen already, we have the 21-day fix and the 21-day fix extreme on sale. Those are probably our top selling programs. So you have the 21-day fix with Shakeology and the 21-day fix extreme with Shakeology for $140. And then you have the the Kickstart packets, which are 21-day fix, Shakeology, and the 3-day refresh. And those are on sale for $180 this month. So these are great deals. It's one of our top selling programs really because of the nutrition plan and really helping people just really understand more, their portion control, understand more about what they need to eat. So definitely if you haven't done it, now's a good time to get it and to try it. And if you have done it, now's a great time to kind of really reach out to people who have purchased it and also just continue to promote it and continue to talk about how it's influenced and changed your life. Tomorrow, I actually don't have the specifics of this. I have to look it up, but I know tomorrow there's a pop-up surge that's happening. I don't know, Bianca, if you know what time it's at, but it is at 6?
It's at 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. our time Eastern.
So at 6 a.m. Tomorrow morning, I'm sure it'll be recorded. So once we see what the recording is, we'll post it. But there's going to be a special pop-up surge with Carl Deichler. And so he has some announcements that he wants to let us know, which is probably usually something that's coming out or something really exciting. So definitely, if you, obviously I won't be up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll tell you that, but I will I will surely listen to the recording sometime tomorrow. So once I find it, or if someone else finds it, Amy or someone else on our team, if you find it, post it in the team page so that we can all learn from it. This month, if you guys, there's a promotion this month for those who are pushing for Diamond. If you hit Diamond and you newly reached that rank advancement this month, you are eligible for a Diamond t-shirt. It's a really nice t-shirt. So if you help someone get to Diamond, if it's one of your personally sponsored coaches, you also get a t-shirt. And so just keeping that in mind. And then I think that's about all I had in terms of announcements. There's some summit announcements, but I'll put those in the summit team page for those. And then tomorrow I'll probably talk about I'll post it in the team page, some of the dates for this month for June. I was working today. It was a crazy schedule. Crazy day in the ER today. But anyway, so I am super excited. I have Bianca here. She is a very good friend of mine. We're becoming good friends and someone that I admire. She is actually she's actually my cousin's coach. And so before I became a coach, my cousin was a coach. And so this is her coach. And it's just been really great just getting to know her. She is a beautiful person. She is a 3-star Diamond coach. She is a mom of 3, which I think is pretty awesome considering, her advancements in the business and her success in the business. She is a retired nurse. So that is incredible, especially because we have a lot of healthcare professionals and just a lot of people who really want to take their business to the next level. And so this is someone, if you have questions, just kind of, juggling being a mom, juggling having a hectic schedule. And not only is she a nurse, but she's also a flight attendant. So just having 2 jobs on top of, the triple full-time job of being a mom of 3 and a wife. And so let's just add that on there. But she's also a Success Club is it All-Star or Legend? All-Star Legend. And so she is a Success Club All-Star Legend. She's also, she headed the Brazilian Market Council, right? It's the Brazilian Market Council. And she's also heading the Market Council in her area. So I'm going to let her talk. She's going to talk to us about time management. She's going to tell us a little bit about her story. And then if you guys have any questions about what she's talking about, obviously write them in the messages and we'll have time at the end for questions. All right, so I'm going to have you go ahead, Bianca.
Thanks, Steph. Hey guys, thank you for having me on your call. I'm like super flattered to be here. I'm excited. I'm a little bit like jet lagged. I just got in from Brazil this morning and I took an afternoon nap. I don't know if there's any moms in the house here, but like afternoon naps like just completely throw me off. I haven't taken a nap in forever. And I woke up and I was like, where the heck am I? Like, I didn't even know if I was home in Brazil. I didn't know where I was. That's how disoriented I was. But I'm here and I'm excited to be talking to you guys tonight. And yeah, like Stephanie said, I'm super busy, super busy. That's just the person I am. I've always liked to be busy, but I'm going to share a screen because I'm super squirrel and I talk fast and I talk a lot. And if you guys get like a little like head spinning, like I don't know what you're talking about, just put questions in the chat because I love questions and I'll be happy to answer, but I will share my screen. Otherwise, if I don't start with this, I'm completely off. So a little bit about me. Like Stephanie said, I signed up in October of 2013. Is that right? Yeah, October of 2013. Just a mom. I had my second daughter. Like Stephanie said, I have 3 girls. My oldest is 14. And when I had her, I walked out of the maternity place like wearing regular clothes. I buttoned my jeans and I just walked out. So when I got pregnant with my second daughter 10 years later, I expected the same was going to happen. And so I ate a lot of cake and I just kind of like didn't care. And I gained 65 pounds. And after she was born, I was tipping the scale at like 200 pounds and I had never been that heavy and it was not budging, like it was not going away. I've always been active, so I think that really played a big part into, you know, me never having problems losing weight. I never had to diet. I never had to, you know, if I needed to lose like 5 pounds here and there, I would just like take a quick pill or, you know, do something, a quick fix of some kind or not eat for 3 days and I would lose the weight and think I was fine. So when I had Allie, my middle daughter, and that wasn't helping me and I needed to lose 65 pounds and I didn't know how, it really upset me and it sent me to like a really dark place. I couldn't work out because we had just moved to Florida and the only thing that I knew how to do was run. And whenever I tried to run, I bought like an expensive jogging stroller and I'll take her. And my middle daughter is not an easy child. And when I'd put her in that stroller, she would start screaming. I don't know if you guys ever had a kid that like does not take the car seat or the stroller. Like she was difficult. And so she would scream and I couldn't run. And so there was no gyms around that would take me. And I just ended up not being able to work out. And in my head, that was like, okay, then there's nothing I can do. If I can't work out, I'm never going to lose this weight. So I ate more, you know, and the more the weight stayed and I couldn't drop it, the more depressed I got, the more isolated I became. We moved to Florida because I'm from Rio, I'm from Brazil, and I love the beach. And that was the main reason why we moved here. And at one point, like after Allie was born, my husband would like try to get me to go to the beach and I would refuse. And that is what, like, that was my telltale sign that I was like, something's wrong here. Because I love the beach. I just didn't want anybody to see me at the weight that I was. And so the deeper I got into my depression, the more I suffered by myself. I couldn't voice this to anybody because I was supposed to be happy. I just had a baby. I was newly married. I was not supposed to be upset. Like that in my head was just like, I can't tell people this. So I suffered in silence and nobody knew. And I didn't even know that I was depressed. So until one day I was sitting on the couch and I saw an infomercial for Insanity. I'm like, that's it. I can work out at home now. Like, I know this is going to be my solution. This is it. This is what I'm going to do. So I did what, I'm probably not supposed to say as a coach, but I went on Craigslist and I bought Insanity and I met this guy in like a Target parking lot, really shady deal. And I got Insanity off of him and I brought it home and I can't tell you how excited I was. And I don't know what I was thinking because I was 65 pounds overweight and hadn't worked out in 2 years. But like I did the fit test and I like nearly died. I was like wheezing and I was like, this is a bad idea. And so there was a friend of mine who went to nursing school with me and she was doing T25. And the main problem I had with Insanity was that it was too long because she couldn't sit through that whole 45 minutes. And I couldn't finish 45 minutes. So she's like, this is only 25 minutes. And there's the shake. And I'm like, I'm not drinking a shake. I'll do the program, but I'm not drinking a shake. She's like, no, listen. She's my friend and she's very assertive. She's like, you're going to get this package and you're going to get this shake and you're going to drink it. And that's it. That's just what you're going to do. So I did. And she put me in this group and I started learning what clean eating was. And little, to make a long story short, 2 months later, I was 36 pounds lighter and I was finally fitting in my clothes again. And I just felt like $1,000,000. And I just thought this is the best things ever. And I wanted everybody to know about it. And everybody was asking me about it. And I was, I had signed up as a coach because she wanted me to be Emerald and I didn't know anything about it. She just told me to do it that way. And when your friend tells you to do something, you do it. You don't question them. And so I did. And people were asking me and I kept referring them to her. I kept sending everybody to her. And she was like, you need to make money with this. So she's like, I had no confidence in myself, none whatsoever. And she was just like, you need to help them. You know how you know what you're doing. And I was just like, no, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I was working as a flight attendant. I had a new baby. I was trying to work on my weight, on my fitness journey. And I was also flying. I was a flight attendant. So I literally it wasn't an excuse. I really didn't have the time. And so she's like, you're just going to do your groups. I'm not going to take care of these people. You're going to sign them up and you're going to run your own groups. So she forced me out of the nest right away. She's like, you're going to run your own challenge groups. No idea what a challenge group was. I had no guides. I had nothing. She just threw me in this Facebook group with the people that I had signed up and she's like, figure it out. And so I did. That was probably the best challenge group I ever ran, by the way. I had like 18 people and everybody was losing like tons of weight. And so that's how I became a coach. She kind of just threw me in there. I had no visions for the business. She thought I would do great. I had no confidence whatsoever that I would, but discount coach turned coach, that's just kind of started doing it. So everybody's always asking me, okay, how did you manage to, go from a discount coach in a matter of 2 years and become a 3-star diamond coach with all the stuff that you have going on? So basically, I've always been that person that has been very, very busy. And I've always had this belief that until you can manage time, you can manage nothing else. So it's not that, I think society tells us that we have no time. And we become that society that is like, okay, quick meals in the microwave. And, you don't have time for this. You can't put your kids in that. You don't have time for the gym. And it's almost become acceptable. And it's like something that's fed to us and we like have learned to believe it. And I travel a lot. So I see the different cultures and that's not how other people live. This is what we live. Like, this is our reality here. And I really believe reality is perception. It's how you see things. I really don't think that anybody doesn't have time. Anything that you want to make happen, you're going to make happen. You create the time for it. So you actually have to manage it. You just have to be smart and create systems and time management systems. And that's the root of our call and what we're going to talk about today. So like I was saying, time is an illusion. I actually created this chart for my team because they're like, I don't understand how you can do all this stuff. And I only have one job and I don't have any kids and I can't do this. I was like, okay, well, let's talk about this. So if you took the whole day, your whole day, and you put it into a chart, what would it look like? And this is what they told me. They work 8-hour days. They sleep for 8 hours, right? I don't believe that because who sleeps for 8 hours? I don't, but they said they do. So they sleep for 8 hours. They commute back and forth to work for an hour. They eat an average, like sitting down for dinner and preparing it is about an hour and a half of their day. Showering and getting ready is about another hour. And so when you put that onto a chart, it looked like in the whole week, they had an extra 40 hours. So where does that 40 hours go? Like, they're not working it, they're not putting it into their business. So where is it going? I wanted to know. And then when you start to look at and dissect your day, all this time that we spend doing mindless things that we really don't realize how much it adds up. But it's scrolling your Facebook. It's the little TV show that you think, oh, it's just half an hour, I'm going to watch it. It's, that chat on the phone with your girlfriend that's really not going anywhere. It's nice, but it's really not doing anything for your business right now. So, you don't have the time to spend an hour on the phone with your friend maybe. And this business is all about sacrifices. So if you're going to want to make it happen, maybe certain things are going to have to suffer. I know that sleep suffered for me a lot because I would stay up late and I would wake up before my girls were up so that I could work my business. When I started working, I was a nurse working 12-hour shifts full time, 3 times a week, and I was flying. So, and with the days that I was home, that maybe one day a week that I got, if I was lucky, I had to get up early before my girls were up so that I could get, those invites out because that was literally the only day I had to send invites. So I would send 100 invites in one day. But I made time for it because I knew that was what I needed to do to move the business forward. So when you sit and think about it, what do you do with your time? That's what's going to determine your productivity. So think about all the little ways, the things that you are spending time with that are not adding to your business, that are not moving you forward, and start cutting some of those out. It may mean that, instead of, going out on the last day of the month, you're sitting at your computer for 3 hours to try to get Success Club. Now, your girlfriends, they may not understand, but you need to know what your priorities are. What does it mean to you? Because Success Club is the root of this business. And if you don't make that a priority, because that was always my priority, it was Success Club. So, and there was nothing else that I got done on my business, Success Club was it. Like, I knew that needed to happen before anything else. So it may be that you have to make sacrifices. And I look at, like, I'm under Melanie Mitro and her organization, and I look at her and I think about how many coaches she has. I mean, on our team page is like 8,000 coaches. She has 8,000 coaches in her downline, and she gets this done. She's a mom. She has 2 kids. She gets it done. So what if she can do it? Why can't I? And if you look at Oprah meditates for an hour a day. Like, how does she meditate for an hour? How does she find time to do that? So everybody has the same amount of time. It's not like Melanie or Oprah have 25 hours in a day. They have the same amount of time that I have. They're just managing it better. So that's going to go into what we talk about. Like, how did I figure this out? Well, I just developed a good system that worked for me. And it looked different at different times of my business, and we'll talk about that. But I just remembered in the beginning, when my head was spinning, right? When you're a new coach, you're like, what the heck? Like, what's the system? How does that work? Like, I just remember Melanie saying it over and over. You need to have a system. You need to have a system. I'm like, what is a system? And so when you start to think about it, I'll read the definition: a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, an organized scheme or a method. So we all have systems. It's, how you get out of bed in the morning and you get ready for work, how you put your pants on first before you put on your shoes. That's a system. Just things that you do that make your life easier. Like, do you drink your coffee before you put your makeup on? Even like little things like that, that's your system. That's your way of getting things done, because it's proven to you that it works. So that's how you do it. A good system will shorten the road to the goal. So with that mentality, I started thinking, okay, so my life doesn't look like Melanie's life, and it doesn't look like Kristen's life, right? My upline. It didn't look like anybody else's life. So I had to come up with a system that would work for me. So I had to actually sit down and say, okay, what are my priorities? And come up with a plan, reverse engineer on how I was going to get there. Because rank was always my goal. I always wanted to get to diamond. Obviously it breaks down, as you're moving forward. But my first goal was to become a diamond coach. And I said, well, what do I need to become diamond? And I knew that I needed 8 coaches, and 2 of those needed to be emerald. So I reverse engineered, and I said, how am I going to get this? And I realized that it was Success Club, and I needed to, because I don't recruit coaches very well off like the street, like, come work for me. No, that's like, come work with me. That doesn't work for me. My coaches are my challengers. I love challenge groups. That's how I started. I think that challenge groups are like the nature of the business. If you get a challenger started right, you pour your heart into them. You get the right people that are motivated to lose that weight. You help them. They become believers. They're going to become a coach. It's like me. I had no desire, every single excuse, but I had such a good transformation that becoming a coach was like, I had to do it. There was no other possibility. So that's what I do. That's how I find my coaches. So I knew that I needed to hit Success Club because I needed those 3 challengers. Actually, at that point, I realized that 3 challengers weren't enough. So my Success Club was 10. I set it at 10. I needed 5 people each month. I needed to help 5 people. And so I did not rest until I found those 5 people. And so my systems all revolved around, how am I going to hit Success Club? And that's how I started my business. And then how am I going to make these challenge groups effective? And so I run freaking awesome challenge groups for that reason, because I came up with a system that gets people through challenge groups and transforms them into coaches. So the key to success is making sure that you can't duplicate it, right? So it's no use if you can do it, but you can't teach your coaches. You can't teach your challengers. It's the same thing, like a system for making it work at home. It's what I pass on to my challengers, right? How do I find time to work out? How do I meal prep? How do I do, all these things are systems that I teach them. And the same thing with my business. Now, all the things that I do with my business, I pass on to my coaches. So keep track of what you're doing and figure out what's working for you, because that's your system and that's what you're going to teach. It doesn't mean that they have to do things the same way that you're doing. It just means that if you're teaching them the importance of them having a system, they will come up with something that will work for them. So as a new coach, my life was very, very different. I realized that I needed consistency, because consistency was the key for me to get Success Club. So it didn't matter that I did, if I did 3 invites today and I didn't do another invite for another 10 days, that wasn't going to help me. I needed to post every day. I needed to be a product of the product, and I needed to invite every day. So my power hour was where I got that. Okay, how am I going to get Success Club was my power hour. So what did my power hour look like when I was working full time and I had my girls at home and I was flying? My power hour was probably between 30 minutes to an hour, but it was religious. If I had to work that day, if I worked, I had to be at the hospital at 6:20 in the morning. That meant I got up at 4 so that I could do my workout and I could do my 30 minutes of my power hour. And what did that look like for me? I checked my back office. I did my invites. I did my follow-ups. I checked into all my groups, and I had everything very organized in a systematic way, which I still do to this day. Like, I first do my invites because I know I hate to invite. So if I don't do them first, I'm going to do everything else. I'm going to go in a challenge group and justify it because it's work. If you're busy in a challenge group, you're like, well, I'm working. Not really. If you're not inviting, you're not working. So my invite was my first thing ever, and it still is. That's still this. I still follow the same way. I actually tune out my notifications, and I don't respond to messages. If I'm going, I know how many, I know on the average, I need to send out 20 invites to get 2 people to join, or 1 person to join. So out of 20 invites that I send, about 1 person joins. And I know that if I need to hit Success Club 5, Success Club 10, I need 5 people. That means 100 invites. So I broke that down. My Success Club 10 is Success Club 10 by the 10th. So I always get Success Club 10 by the 10th. So those 100 invites, they need to go out before the 10th, because that's when I need to send up those people. So I broke that down. That meant I needed to invite 20 people every day. So I would send out 20 messages and not respond until all those 20 messages were sent. Because if one person responds and you start engaging in a conversation with them and they really don't want to sign up, they just want to talk, you're going to look back and you're going to well, where are the other 19 invites that I was supposed to send out? You wasted all that time. Not wasted, because obviously you're forming with people, but you're really not getting your job done. So send your 20 invites, and then you go back and you answer as you. Nobody's going to die if you don't answer right away. You can go back and answer it later. People don't give up just because you didn't respond to their message right away. So send out your 20 invites and then go back and answer them. So invites, I checked into all my groups. I always did my personal development. I actually do that before I work out. It was 10 minutes, nothing big, nothing huge, but it was religious. And those little things really compound. My posts were always before I went to work, because I didn't have time when I was a nurse to be posting at work. So it was posted and it was scheduled. So that, or not scheduled, because I don't like to schedule my posts, but I would have it already on my notes. So the picture and everything was set up so that 2 minutes, and I work my business from the toilet, so I'm sorry if this is TMI, but that 2 minutes that I was on the toilet is when I was posting, because that was the only time I had as a nurse. I was lucky when I had time to pee. So then you just trust the process, because you may not see it right away. It may not be like people are going to be, oh yeah, sign me up. There are months where you're going to send out 100 invites and you're going to get nothing. Nobody's going to want to do anything. And you're going to have to send another 100 invites. But if you know that your Success Club is non-negotiable, you are sitting down to 11:59 on the last day trying to get those Success Club points, because that's what it means to you. That's what you, and you know what? If you end up the next day you wake up and you don't have it, you know that you did your freaking best. You put it all there. You didn't leave it on the table. You didn't slack. You did your best. And that's all I can ask for. That's all anybody can ask of you. That's all you can ask of yourself. So as I became an active coach, and that was, I started working my business full time, right? And that turned very different. So after a year of doing that relentlessly, 30 minutes a day is all I had. I love to beat down on that, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't have the time that you have, because now I work my business full time. Well, all I had was 30 minutes, and I got to 3-star diamond that way. So let that sink in. I had 30 minutes, and I did that every day, and I became a 3-star diamond that way. Once I hit 3-star diamond was when I started, and by the way, I had a baby in that time. So once I had that going and I had those 3 diamonds to work with, I realized that, okay, I started looking at my paycheck, and I started looking at how much I was paying in daycare for my 2 girls. and the money that I was spending to go to work, and we put it, my husband's a financial advisor. So we sat down and we were like, okay, well, the way this is trending, if you actually were to quit your job, you would make as much money as you were making as a nurse. And that's when I made the decision to quit I reduced my time. I went to per diem. That didn't work. I did that for like 2 months. I never wanted to go to work. So they would call me. I'm like, nope. So, cause I was so passionate about my business, still am. So at that point, I became an active coach and I was working full time, but the life still wasn't easy. I actually think that it was harder because it was harder. I felt like I had all this time, but I wasn't being productive because I had my girls at home. And that was probably the hardest transition that I had. I didn't have those 30 minutes because now I didn't have to get up early because I had all day. But the thing is, kids, they don't allow you to work as much as you want to work. So that was a transition for me as well. So when I started working full time, I started developing, like my system kind of changed. And I got a little bit smarter with the goal setting and like where I wanted my business to go. So now it wasn't just about Success Club. Now I had to teach my diamonds how to do it. And I needed to teach them how to teach their teams and help them discover their own system. So it got a little different. I do have a marketing strategy that I plan ahead of time, and this really, really helps me. So my month of June is already all mapped out. My challenge group dates are already, my sneak peek, my team knows it. They know what they're inviting to. They have their scripts. They know how many people they need to invite. Like all that, it comes from me. Like it comes from me learning from Melanie, how she does her business. If you guys don't know, have never watched Melanie Mitchell's marketing strategy call that she did for, gosh, I want to say it was Summit, but if you YouTube it, Melanie Mitchell and marketing strategy, you'll find it. It's like an hour long. It's amazing. But that's how she teaches us. And so this is what I do. I sit and I plan it all out and I pass it on to my team because that's what part of a system, right? You need to plan it ahead and know what's coming. As the demands increases, you need to laser focus on your tasks. So now my life got very, very different because I had the girls at home. Trying to send out invites and talking to people on the phone wasn't effective anymore. The baby was climbing on me, typing on my computer, so that wasn't working out. So what did I need to do? I needed to go back to the roots and start getting up earlier before the girls were up so that I could get those invites out and start doing that. And so that focus time when all is quiet and nobody's up is when I'm doing my invites. It's when I'm doing my follow-ups and I can focus, because that's, again, my business is my priority and Success Club is my priority. So moving my business forward, even though I have a growing team, my business is still my primary focus. And then after that, I started teaching coaches and teaching them my system, how I do this, the same stuff that I'm explaining to you guys, how I do my invites first. That's my system. That's how I do it. And I teach them that. And for everything, I make videos. So if I hear a question more than once, I go on YouTube and I make a little video and I explain it. And when people ask me this, I send them a YouTube link. And when people want to know what the 21-day fix is, I send them a video. And I love the ones that Beachbody have, but people connect so much more with you. So for everything that anybody, a challenger or a coach has asked me more than once, I have a video and I send them. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is, because you're typing and typing and typing on your computer when I simply didn't have the time. So sending them a video for me is like a godsend. So I have a huge YouTube channel, completely unlisted. You know, people don't need to see it. You know, you can unlist it and just send the people that are interested, or you can make it public, whatever your personality is. But mine is unlisted and I just send them what I need, what they need. I make videos, blogs, scripts, pass it to people, pass it to my coaches so that they have answers to their questions too. I'm very organized. Like, I'm a hot mess in my life. I don't know when my kids' shots are due, but I'm very organized when it comes to my business. Very, 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 very organized. And it's not a personality thing. I used to justify it as a personality thing, like, oh, I can't be organized. I'm a hot mess. It is completely like, it's a skill that you learn. If you want to get organized, you read time management, you read organization, you learn how to do it. I use all kinds of systems. Streak is my favorite right now. I do Streak for everything. If you guys don't know how to use Streak, Google it, YouTube it. You'll find it in like 10 minutes. It's like, there's tons of training out there. Amazing. It will like help you so much. I use Google Calendars. Like, everybody always asks me what I use to keep organized. So I'm going to tell you guys what my apps are. Google Calendar, Streak, Team Up for my calendars. If you guys don't know what Team Up is, you can put in the dates for your groups, and then you can add and edit it and put scripts in there. So, and pictures and ideas for your coaches so that when the time comes, like, they know as of last Sunday, like we have a challenge group coming up on the 6th. So they know that as of Sunday, they need to be inviting for that challenge group. They have the scripts that they can use for invites. They have ideas for what they can post, when they can post, what, you know, they have things that go with the theme that we have this month, which is summer slim down. So Team Up is that calendar app that's amazing, and the team loves it. What else do I use for organization? I think that's it. Of course, don't lose sight of your why. I think when we start getting into this micromanagement mode, which sucks, because when you have a team, that's what we tend to do, is we get into management mode. So don't fall into that trap. It's your business first, always. And obviously, don't lose sight of your why, because I don't know about you guys, but I notice that when I'm off track with my own fitness journey, when I'm not doing my personal development, when I'm not doing my workouts, or I'm not committing, when I'm not eating right, my business suffers. I see a decline. Like, people don't buy it. They're like, okay, you're a phony. And they're right. You know, why should you do something that I'm saying that you should do, but I'm not doing myself? And even though they don't know that, because we can be very good and like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm working out. But then if you're not really doing it, they feel it. It's your energy that you put out. So, you know, obviously remember your why and keep the 3 vital behaviors as your, like, that's what keeps you grounded. That's what's going to keep your business growing. And now as a full-time coach. So now things have changed a lot from, you know, both times in my life when I was just starting the business. But now I work this business full-time, and I do still fly. So I'm still very busy, but I do, I'm home most of the time. I fly when I want to. So I'm very blessed. This business has allowed me the opportunity to be home with my girls, where I had to be flying all the time, and I was always gone. And my 14-year-old barely knew me. And my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old know who mommy is because of this business. So without crying, that's my why. And that's why I do things, you know, and that I'm so thankful for this business. But make sure you set business hours and you're not a short order cook. My coaches know when they can reach me. They're not messaging me at 11:30 in the morning and 11:30 at night, because if they do, they know I'm not going to answer. You are not there to be anybody's boss or a babysitter. You are there to move your business, your partners, with your coaches. You're not their boss. You're not their babysitter. So remember that. I feel like you sometimes take on responsibility for other people's business, and you don't have to do that. You have to concentrate on yours and yours first. Of course, you're a mentor and you're there to help them, but they have to be doing what, you know, they have to be meeting you halfway. Establish a routine for yourself. So my day looks like this. I get up in the morning at 5:30. I read my 10 minutes of personal development. I drink my Energize, and while I'm waiting for that to kick in, I'm formulating my posts, and I'm posting to social media, and I'm checking into my challenge groups, and I am making a to-do list for the day. The 3 things, don't fall into the trap of doing a very, very long to-do list. Figure out what 3 things you can do today that are going to move your business forward, that you must do. And make your family a priority in there too. So if there's something that your family needs, that comes first. So those 3 things, because if you have that in the back of your mind, oh, the baby needs shots, and you're like trying to send out invites, it's not going to work. So make sure that you have your family in there first. And so I go, after I have that to-do list, I go and do my workout. Again, I post if I have to. And then as I come back, the girls are still sleeping. I still probably have like 40 minutes before they're up. That's when I send all my invites. And that's when I get to my contact list, which this is my system for getting Success Club. Paper and pen type girl. I've always been and will always be. I have a notebook that I get for each month. So this is my May notebook. I get these for like $5 on Amazon. They're a pack of 5. And I make a list with 100 names, because what I want Success Club 10, right? So I make 100 names of people that I have already formed with, or people that are liking my pictures, people that I see are interested in a challenge group. They've mentioned it to me. They go in here, and every day I send 20 out. Every single day. So after I'm done with my workout, I send out those 20 invites, or I respond to any messages that, you know, or whatever I can do before the girls are up. Once the girls are up, I'm on me. I check out pretty much of my business. Of course, I always have my phone on me. So if my coaches are asking if I need to get on the phone with the customer, you know, so be it. But I'm on me until nap time, until the girls are, you know, done with lunch and they're sleeping. They sleep in the afternoon. My 3-year-old for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's when I go back and I focus and I do other things that I need to do. like creating documents or scripts or opening up challenge groups or whatever it is that I need to do, like the little tasks that are not, that we tend to focus on before we do our invites. So you can go back and do those when you have available time, but make sure your invites are out every day, and then you're good. Outsource the tasks that you're not good at. That's huge for me. I hate cleaning my house. My house is huge, and I hate cleaning it. It takes me a whole freaking day. And I was like, I heard a podcast from Chalene Johnson that said, you know what, if you hate doing something, there's probably a reason. Pay somebody that likes it. And so I did. I hired somebody to come and clean my house. It cost me $85. And all I did was like committed to selling 2 challenge packs a week to pay for that. And I did. And I can't tell you what kind of blessing that is, because I hate cleaning. So if there's something that you have to do every day that you hate to do, outsource it. Have somebody else do it for you, and then just commit, figure out how you're going to pay for it, and then just make it happen. Because trust me, that one day that I would spend cleaning the house, I can sell 2 challenge packs that day. Like, I can sign 2 people up. That's not a problem. If you know that that's what you need to do to get your house clean, you're going to do it. Delegate to your team, obviously not just to get things off your plate, but also to encourage them to grow. You know, if you do everything for them, they're always going to be not doing anything for themselves. And that's not the kind of culture you want to create. You want to teach them so that they can teach their coaches. And, you know, you want them to become independent as well. So I have my leaders running challenge groups as well. They run free groups. They run their own sneak peeks, you know, all that stuff that remember my coach told me, go do a challenge group, and I didn't know what to do. So that's what I learned to do. And that's what I do with my coaches. Remember, 80% of the time that you spend should be on your business, and then 20% on your team. And obviously that grows as you grow. You know, I'm sure Stephanie with an elite team is not doing the same as I do as a 3-star coach, but always remember it's your business first. Otherwise, you're not going to move forward. Things happen. People drop off. You can't spend all your time with them. You know, you just you can do the one thing that you can control, which is the controllable. It's you and your business and the things that you do. You can't control what other people do. And don't put all your eggs in there like, oh, they're going to be great, I'm just going to help them. And no, I mean, it's not that you're being mean. It's just that, you know, you have to focus on you, because you know where you're going. Don't slack on PD. Definitely, that's my biggest one. If there was one thing that always kept me through, you know, last year my mom had cancer, and it was a really, really difficult time of my life. And I remember being in a chemotherapy room with her, working my business and listening to my personal development, you know, because that was what filled my cup, and that's what kept me going. And people were like, well, I don't understand how you could have done this when your mom was in the hospital. I'm like, I don't understand how you could not do this. How would you get through cancer if you didn't have something, a rock, to hold you and keep you up? Because it's not easy. So that was really what kept me going. Focus on your team needs, put their goals ahead of your own. Obviously, keeping your business in mind. But obviously, like I'm shooting for elite this year. And yes, that's a goal of mine. That's personal. I think our team has what it takes to be an elite team. But I had to first realize that it wasn't because of my ego and because I wanted to be an elite team. I had to demonstrate to them what it meant to be an elite team and how it would benefit them, and ask them if that's something that they wanted to do, because I tried elite last year and I felt flat on my face. I probably could have been premier, but I didn't have nearly half the points that I needed. And why? Because I think I put my needs first. I wanted to be elite, and I never communicated that to my team. And so I was pushy, and I did what I hate to say it this way, but what my coach told me to do, which is hit Success Club, but they didn't know why. They didn't know why they needed to hit Success Club. And it really goes back to the roots, because I think every coach that comes into this business, they come here because they want to help people. And hitting Success Club is nothing more than helping people. As long as you are hitting Success Club, that means you signed up 3 people. That means you have 3 people to help. That means you're doing your job as a coach. So, you know, once I went back to the roots and I started to explain to them why Success Club was so important, then they understood. And then now I explain, you know, reverse engineer. I explained to them what elite means, and now they're in it with me. And I don't know if we're going to get there, but we're going to give it our best shot. Now we're working together, which just made it a whole like different ball game. Even for me, it's more enjoyable. It's not like I'm trying to make you guys do this. No, now we're working together. We're really helping each other out, and it's amazing. And it's a whole different experience. And set aside time to recruit. So if you're like, okay, well, I want to be, you know, a 3-star coach. I want to be a 5-star coach. I want to be an elite coach. You may have all your team players right now, or you may have nobody. I built my business completely. I went to Diamond completely on discount coaches. I did not have a single working coach. And I'll tell you, I didn't get my first working coach until 8 months into the year. So 8 months into my business. And if you guys look at it, I became a coach, I think before Stephanie did. And my coach could have been her coach if she had just invited her. And she didn't. You know, she was already a coach. She was her cousin. She should have invited her and she didn't. So because I didn't recruit, my team didn't recruit. So I have nobody to blame but myself on that because I was not setting the example. So now I'm out there recruiting. I may have all the rock stars in the world on my team, but I'm still out there looking for more people. Why? Because I signed up to help people. And ultimately, I think the coaching opportunity is the best product that we have to offer at Beachbody. I think a lot of people put a negative, they attribute a negative sales thing to Beachbody, which bugs me because there's nothing wrong with being a salesperson, first of all. And better than that, we sell health. And I'm being a nurse and seeing people die from strokes and heart attacks and being ticking time bombs because whether you know it or not, you know people that eat at McDonald's every night and they are ticking time bombs. And you have the solution in your back pocket and you're like too embarrassed to invite them because you're afraid to be seen as a salesperson, please. Like that bothers me to the moon and back. My husband, he's a financial advisor. He was a big time financial, what did he do? He was in Wall Street. He made tons of money. He had a great job. We were like not worried about money at all when we lived in New York. And he didn't feel fulfilled. And we came to Florida, one, because I want to be at the beach. And two, because he wanted fulfillment. He didn't, you know, what he did on Wall Street was help people that were already wealthy and trust fund babies that really didn't care about their money. He helped them make more money and that didn't fulfill him. So what did he do? He came down here and now he's a financial advisor and he helps people save for retirement, which is, you know, completely not a glamorous thing to do. And he took a huge pay cut, but he's happy. Why? Because he's helping that widow that lost her husband keep her home. He's a salesperson. He sells financial products. He's no different than what he does, but he's very proud of what he does. We should be very proud of what we do too. I don't care if somebody calls me a salesperson. Yeah, I sell health. You want to buy some? Because everybody needs health. So you guys don't keep that in your back pocket just because you're afraid of what people are going to think of you. Who cares? People are not, you know, you're on your own agenda and you do your own thing. So worry about what people are going to say. And if you do, go back and do your personal development because I know that was me in the beginning. I was like, people are going to think I'm pushy. And so go back and do your personal development and that will bring you back to, you know, why we do this business and why it's so important. I think that's it. Yeah. Questions? Let me see. I'll pull up the chat. I talk a lot, right, guys? All right. Let me see if I can pull up the chat. I can't see it for some reason. Oh, there you go. Oh, preach. There you go. Success Club 11 last minute. Girl, let me tell you, there was a month when I had made Success Club non-negotiable. I think it was like in November. It was a month that was really hard and nobody was like returning my calls or my messages. And I sat down at the last day of the month. I sat down in the morning and I remember clearly people asking me to go out. It was like the end, like, you know, Thanksgiving and everybody's home and everybody was like, oh yeah, we need to go out. It was like, I'm going to get Success Club. And I got up that morning at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I told my husband, like, I'm on a mission. I'm going to get Success Club. And I invited my butt off that day. And it was like nobody like dead on Facebook, you know? And I hit Success Club 10 that day. And ever since that, I took that as a lesson. I'm like, don't ever say it was a bad month. And that people are like, if you make it your business and you're like, I'm doing this, you're doing this. And I did it. So I got you. Good for you, Success Club 11. I love it. Could you share what a typical invite would be for you when you send out your 20? Yeah, sure. I'll put it in the chat box. Look at Anita Myron right now. So does your husband help with your business too? If not, what was the support like? Yes, my husband does totally help. And I do think that, you know, he's like 50% of what I do because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't do the things that I do. Like he's with my girls right now. He puts them to bed so that I can be on team calls. He does. He's very supportive. And I'll tell you guys, you know, people, they ask, you know, how is your husband so supportive? Because I eat and sleep Beachbody, and it's probably annoying to everybody, including him. But he's supportive because he knows why I do what I do, and he sees how happy I am. And he saw how it brought me back from that depression. And he sees the happiness in my face and the fulfillment I get from helping people. And I think that shines through. So don't be afraid to share that with people. Like my husband knows how happy this business makes me. And so that's why he's supportive, because the people who love you, they're going to support you. They're going to, if you can make it transparent about what it means to you and not make it seem like a hobby. If you treat it like a hobby, like it's something, oh yeah, well, I do it when I have fun, then people are going to treat it like that too. And they're going to think, oh, your hobby takes up too much time. So you demand respect from it. No, this is a business. This is serious. I'm serious about it. And this is what it does for me, and explain to them, then they will understand it. They'll buy into your dream. 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, there's a mom right there. 4 hours of sleep. Does he do anything business-wise? I'm 100% blessed that mine takes the kids, gives me time, but does he do anything like email? No, my husband doesn't. He's never signed. No, I hate to say this. He's a diamond coach, and he's never sold a challenge back in his life. He couldn't name a coach on his team. No, he doesn't. He doesn't do anything. He's just supportive. He does do the workouts with me, and it does like help because people see like he does jujitsu. So I bribe him. I'm like, you do this program here, and you let me post the transformation pictures, and I'm not gonna say what I tell him I'm gonna do, but I bribe him. You're amazing, Samia. Thank you. I hope it was helpful. Do you guys have questions? I'll share the invite scripts.
Let's see. Lisa's saying here, I'm in a rut with nursing. I love that this business allows you to help people in an enjoyable way. Not that nursing is completely awful, but people in this business appreciate your help so much more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my beef with nursing. And I think I put it in a negative way, but I felt like I was a little bit like excluded from nursing because I lived a little bit of a healthier lifestyle. And I don't know how it is at your job, but people made fun of me. They would seclude me. Like they would, the nurses would sit for lunch, and they would make fun of my quinoa or my turkey burgers. And they say, well, you can't sit with us because we're eating pizza and things like that. And they would have baby showers and not invite me because they would say that I wouldn't eat anything anyways. So they did certain things. They really isolated me. And that, as much as it hurt me a lot, it fueled me because I wanted to get out of that place so bad. I wanted to be around people that understood me, that knew that I wasn't eating quinoa because I wanted to be, skinny. I was doing it for my health, and that, this business meant what it meant to me. So it fueled me. I think everybody that's ever done anything negative to me just propelled me forward. And I love nursing too. I signed up because I wanted to help people. And I feel like I do that in a much larger scale now than I ever did at the hospital.
What are some of your favorite PD books?
Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins was my first one. I didn't share with you guys about my background, but like I grew up very poor, alcoholic parents, abusive, very, very bad childhood. And I grew up never thinking I would amount to anything. That's what I heard my entire life. Like college was not even a possibility for me. I'm the first person in my whole family to go to college. So I didn't have the self-belief. And so I knew that, from day one, when my coach was like, you could do this, you'd be amazing. And she saw it in me, but I didn't see it in myself. So I knew that if I wanted that self-confidence, I needed to find that. For everything I search in PD, like it's my job. So the one person that helped me with that was Tony Robbins, and Awaken the Giant Within was definitely the first one. You're a Badass. So anything with self-confidence are my favorites. You're a Badass. What's the other one? Gosh, there was one that was really good too. It's not going to come to me. But definitely Awaken the Giant Within. I make my whole team read it. I think it's awesome.
Let's see. Kayla says, I've been dealing with postpartum depression, and I was wondering what you think was the fighting factor in your battle with depression.
Helping people was taking it out of myself. Like I knew that by being a coach, and that when I signed somebody up, I was taking responsibility for them. I was telling them I was going to help them. And I knew that I couldn't help them if I couldn't help myself. So it was making myself do my workouts and drink my shake and eat, the way I was supposed to, because I knew people were watching me, was concentrating on others and not concentrating on myself. Not just the happy endorphins from the workouts and the self-confidence coming back because I was dropping the weight, but mostly like seeing other people's success was what fueled me and got me like, oh, what I'm doing matters. Like, that fulfilled me, and that really helped bring me out of it for sure.
A question I have for you, Bianca, a question that I like to ask kind of the guest speakers who come on, I think it's really just telling, kind of looking back, now that you are a 3-star diamond coach, and kind of is there like, kind of thinking about what your biggest obstacle has been as a coach, kind of in terms of just whether, just kind of speaking to that, whether it's personal, whether it's leadership wise, what do you think? Or like, has there ever been a moment where you're like, wow, this is really hard. Like I don't know if I'm cut out for this, or, just kind of those moments of doubt, which I think, does come into and everybody's, kind of everybody's kind of career as a coach. But is there anything kind of that kind of comes to mind when I ask you that?
Every day, every day, I'm my own, I'm my own worst enemy. I am the person that I'm the one telling myself I can't do this, or can I do this? I'm always like doubting myself. And it doesn't matter where you're an Emerald coach and signing up your first person, where I am, and you're like shooting for elite. I still doubt myself every day, and I still, tell myself negative things. And the one thing that's made different is definitely the personal development, where I know that when I'm feeling myself like fall too much into that trap, I can put a stop to it and go back to my personal development and pull it in. I don't know if you have people on your team who are people of faith, but my Bible is like, it's what keeps me every day. It keeps me grounded. I pray for my business. I pray for my team. And, I set that time aside every day to bring me back, because that really brings me back to the confidence and just saying, okay, you can do this. You've been doing this. Like, you just have to remind yourself. And you just have to know that that's a daily thing. Like, you have to do it every day. Like, you're always going to doubt yourself. You're always going to think, oh, I'm doing everything wrong. This is never going to work. I'm never going to be an elite team. It's not going to work. And then you bring yourself back. Yeah, you are. Of course you are. Look at all the progress that you've done, until today. And then just focus on that. And just know that it's a snowball, right? You start rolling it in your hands, and it's a snowball, and it won't hurt anybody if you throw it. But if you keep on rolling it and you keep on rolling it, eventually it's going to grow, and it's going to grow to the point where other people are going to have to help you push it until it becomes an avalanche. And once it becomes an avalanche, nobody can stop you.
That's a really great analogy. Thank you. I know for me, kind of, thank you so much for coming on. This is, I think time management is just something that we all really struggle with. And I think there are some people who are good at creating systems, other people like myself that are horrible at creating systems. We just it's just not something that's innate to us. And but it's definitely, it's comforting to see, it's like, even if you don't have the systems, eventually you're going to have to create a system. It's like, eventually it catches up to you. Even if you are, you're kind of the Energizer bunny that just keeps going. Eventually you're going to hit a block, which you're like, okay, shoot, now I have to duplicate this. Now I have to try to teach this, and not everyone can be kind of scatterbrained like I can, or can do it at different times. So it's just super important, kind of really starting to think about what system's going to work for you. I think you guys can clearly see one thing that we talk a lot about, and everything that we kind of in our training and just in one-on-one calls, you see how consistent Bianca has been. Regardless of anything, she's sending out her invites every single day. She's doing her personal development every single day. She has that consistency day after day after day. And that really, I think, is what has led to her success. It's what's led to my success. It's what's led to other people's success, in the business. It's not that every day is a rock star day and we're like, selling challenge packs left and right, or we all have hard months where we're like really, really pushing and nobody's saying, but either way, every single day we're doing the things that we need to do to move our business forward. And she made a good example of, when her mom was sick, and I remember, and this is another good example, guys. It's like, if you don't follow Bianca, you can follow her on her business page. And also, but I know about that because she shared about it, right? It's about that transparency. It's about making sure that you are sharing your struggles, you're sharing your life, because what people are doing is they're buying into wanting to work with you. They're buying into wanting your support. They want to get to know you. And when you become really authentic in how you share, when you're really able to perfect that and master that, and guys, it grows as you grow. In the beginning, I had no clue. I'm sure Bianca didn't have a clue of how she was going to post and share, but she, she learned, she studied, she was eager. She was like, no matter what, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to learn from those above me. She had Melanie Mitro. She had other coaches on her team that were probably doing phenomenal. And she learned and she adjusted and she took what would work for her. Just like all of you guys have to see what's going to work for you and share your life, share your story, share your struggles. Because I know about her mom and her cancer. I know how she was traveling to Brazil. And I know those things. I wasn't even talking to her at that time. I know those things because I saw it on her social media, and it made me, want to be on her side of the ring. It made me want to fight with her because she was sharing that, and so just kind of keeping that in mind, that that's the power of social media, and that's part of our job as coaches. And then I love what you said, just in terms of just like that really. Overall, with our teams, with our coaches, we're partners with our coaches. You're not someone else's boss. I'm not someone else's boss. Like other people on this team, we're not bosses of other people on our team. And I've been really reflecting a lot on this lately, especially because as you grow, as your team grows, like you're constantly just constantly growing. Your leadership changes. You have to always re-examine your why. You have to re-examine your mission for your team, your vision for your team. And one thing that I've really been reflecting on, and I'm sure Bianca could relate to this, is that at the end of the day, every single one of you're representing yourself, but you're also in a sense representing the greater team. And I've really been thinking a lot about this. It's like, you see how I represent myself, you see how, the way that I work, the way that I present myself on social media. I think if the more that we look at each other as teammates, the more that we look at each other as that we're working together and we're not working separate and alone, realizing that, Amy represents, the big team, and Liz, represents the big team, and Ashley and Blair, like Courtney, like all of you guys represent our team. And how are you representing our team? Are you representing it a way that you feel you should be proud of? Or are you representing it quietly and you're just like, well, I'm really not even representing it? And, just really thinking about that. And that's something I've really been thinking about, how to kind of really convey that team spirit, but just understanding that we're truly a team. And the only way that we all, really improve and better our businesses and better ourselves is by working together and not working alone and working separately. So yeah. But anything else? Anyone else have any comments or last minute questions for, everyone's saying thank you so much. This is the call that they needed. I definitely needed this. Allison's saying you're amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate you being so raw. Catherine said thank you. So yeah, awesome. Well, if no one else has any other questions, then
I promised them a script.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I could look for it, but I can just tell you. So it's not so much, it changes because every day I just kind of go with the flow, but I pretty much try. Usually people who I invite are people who I've formed with and they've been following me or whatnot, but I take the pressure off the invite. I make it very casual. Hey, hello, how are you? I've been noticing, pictures of your son and he's getting so big, and something, that would make them at least read my message. And then I go in. I'm not sure if you follow me on Facebook or not, if you're following my post, if you saw the post that I recently made about my upcoming challenge group. I thought of you just because you're a mom and probably don't have a whole lot of time, and this is perfect for you to try to get your workout in, and we'll try, I'll put something related to that. And then I take the pressure off by saying, it's totally okay if it's not your cup of tea or not what you want to do, but do you or maybe somebody that would have an interest on this? Or, I always say somebody else, because that helps me not get the crickets, because usually if people want to say no, they're like, oh yeah, but I have somebody that I know and blah, blah, blah. So I always get at least a response on that. So it's very laid back and very like, feel free to say no to this, but this is, I'm like a waitress. I think of myself as a waitress with offering coffee. Like if I go by and I say, hey, you want some coffee? And they say, no, I'm not going to go to corner and cry, oh, they don't want my coffee. My coffee must suck. No, I just move on to the next person. Hey, would you like some coffee? And I just keep on offering it. And, some people take coffee. I'll take some coffee if they offered it to me. So that's how I think of it.
And then one more says, Amy says, for a coach who wants to go diamond, what advice would you give them?
Focus. Okay, so here's the thing. I went diamond in 23 days. So I'll tell you how I did it. focus, because if you say I want to be diamond by September, you're going to be diamond by September, and you focus and you reverse engineer on how you're going to get that. Yeah, I did. So if you decide, but remember, all discount coaches, I just signed up everybody. I didn't ask if they want to be a coach or not. Do you want to do this? Yep. Okay, here you go. You're going to be a coach. And if you say that you're going to do it in 3 months, you're going to do it in 3 months. If you say you're going to do it in 3 weeks, you're going to do it in 3 weeks. So it's all your focus. Like, we can do amazing things. I just recently saw some kind of network marketing thing where this guy said that he built like a 300 people organization in one day. So, you know, I believe that. Like, you can do it. Whatever you want to do, you can do. So if you set your goal for diamond, don't be like, okay, well, I'm going to do it in 3 months, or I'm going to do it in a year, or something that, okay, yeah, you could probably do it by then, but you could probably do it in 3 weeks too. Like, I did it in 3 weeks. If I did it, you can do it too. So just focus. It's just reverse engineer. How many people do you need? How, on the average, you know, how many people do you invite? How many people do you talk to get one person to sign up? Once you get that number, then you times it by however coaches you need. And then you just don't give an option. You know, you're going to sign up as a coach. Like, nowadays, nobody should have a problem signing up people as coaches, because it's 30 days. If they don't want it, they go online and they cancel it. It's like the easiest thing to do. So by then you find somebody else and you replace it. You just kind of do your thing. You know, I don't have to teach you guys how to do that, but you shouldn't have a problem signing up people as coaches. Just say, would you like the discount account? Boom. Send them the coach information, and that's, you know, just do it. That's it. Ask and go do it tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Bianca, for taking.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have. I did record this, so I will be posting this both in the page and then eventually on the team training site. I'm gonna put it. It's a good call on time management overall. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you everyone for coming on, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Good night, everybody.